I think my internet just cut out there for some reason. I have no idea why, but I think we're all good to go. I had some, my internet just went out, but I think we're back online here. Okay, so we're back, guys. Like I said, if there's any pairs that you guys are looking at, feel free to share it down in the chat. But appreciate coming back though, because that was completely my fault, my bad, guys. But if there's any pairs you guys are looking at, feel free to share. I mean, we're seeing a lot of strength in the US dollar this morning, and not a lot of strength in my Wi-Fi. A little bit of banter there. But currently in this pound USD position, like I was talking about yesterday, looking for that push there. Was looking at Euro USD off this level here yesterday, but I wasn't convinced, and now we're having that breakthrough. So with all that momentum, as long as this is not a false break, we're probably coming back down to these lows here, maybe even that support all the way down there as well. So Euro USD is looking better, especially how that 4H candle closed there as well. Sure thing, Twigs. We'll take a look at Euro USD. Euro USD, we've got this momentum coming to the downside here from the daily time frame. On the 4H, we had this level here, 1.18, nice psychological level coming through this area here, so resistance turn support. We were looking at yesterday at potentially catching a bounce from here for Euro USD, flying back to the upside. But we're putting in those lower highs, so I wasn't too convinced, and now we're breaking through very, very strongly. And this is telling me that Euro USD wants to continue to the downside, and potentially all we just had here was a double top at this area of resistance, and price is likely to fall back down to these area of support here as well. So I'm expecting more downside for Euro USD. If you're looking for an opportunity to trade this pair, I would simply wait for some retracement now, especially after that big collapse there. If we were to come back to 1.18, retest that as resistance, that'd be a nice place to short. And you can look at taking profit around here. Again, that'll be a really nice swing trade. Again, you don't have to hold on for that long. You can look to catch halfway down or something like this. There's some nice areas of support here, which I think price could come back and test. 1.17500 is a nice psychological level as well. So we could come halfway, take some profit there, or exit the trade there. But I'm looking at more downside for Euro USD. So my bias, especially after that candle closure, again, as long as it's not false, I don't think it's false. Looking at the DXY looks like it's flying to the upside. So if you keep that up, I think Euro USD back down to 1.17 down there, maybe 1.17100. So if we can get some retracement on the lower time frames, maybe hourly, back up again, then take it down, that would look like a good opportunity. But it looks like we're just breaking through that level. So now I'm just expecting that momentum to continue us back into this level here. And looking at the DXY as well, we're looking very, very strong. This candle still does have an hour and a half before it does close, so can't look at that candle too much. It could look a lot different when it does close, but essentially all we're doing is holding that support. We had that high momentum candle coming in here, so I was a bit skeptical, but we managed to hold it through the Asian session. Now price is seeing a lot of momentum to the upside, so we're coming back into this resistance. Might see some pullbacks because it will take a hard time trying to break through that resistance, but if we can do, then I'm expecting DXY to start pushing to the upside back up to 93, test some areas of resistance up there, and then Euro USD come further down back to here. So I'm expecting more downside for those pairs. So if you're looking for an opportunity, wait for some retracement. Would be great if you can have another retest of that area as resistance now, and then sells back down to 1.17. ADJPY and 4H, what's going on here with this pair? So again, another pair that we've seen some nice downside here. Let me zoom out a little bit, see what we're working with. So we are coming into this daily level of support. You can see it there, held, move price in that consolidation here before it did break to the downside. Now we broke back up above, so potentially could be a bit of a false break of that and having the retest now, but you are coming back into that support, so we are in a nice area of daily support. Do have to keep that in mind. But on the 4H time frame, there's nothing much really going on here. I wouldn't be looking for sells in this market, and I wouldn't be looking for buys just yet. I mean, it is in a nice area to look for buys. I think is that 80 as well. Yeah, 80. So that's a really nice psychological level as well. So potentially, yeah, buys could be looking good. We're forming a little bit of support here in the 4H. So I think if you hold that intact and we see a nice shift from this candle closing up around there, I think you could scale into the lower time frames and take advantage of that. So if you could see a nice push up, come back down, higher low or something like that, or a bit of a head and shoulders really with the head there, neck shoulder there as well. And then yeah, upside would look good because you do have that daily support, and now we're just waiting for the confirmation. So yeah, I do have to admit, ADJPY, nice area, nice psychological level, nice daily support, just waiting for those confirmations. And if you can hold that, then yeah, upside is looking good for ADJPY. But you do have to take into account, this is bearish price action, so don't get in too quickly without your confirmations, or too early, because price could easily move to the downside a little bit more. And we still got 11 hours before the daily candle closes, so price could still push down, take out these wicks and then push back up before the end of the day. So do be aware of that. Price is still looking bearish here, but if we can hold it, there might be some nice buys coming back up for ADJPY. Yeah, I was wondering where the US dollar strength is coming from. Last time I checked, I didn't see any news announcements, or did I miss something? I'm going to check again now. But yeah, when I checked yesterday, I didn't think I saw any news announcements, anything this early. Yeah, there's nothing there on my FX book. We've got some Euro news that happened at 9. It was medium impact, so maybe that's what affected Euro USD, all of that. But again, that was supposed to be medium. That's more like a high impact news. We do have US dollar news, but that's at 130 though. That's at 130, so it's not the reason for the strength that we just saw. So yeah, we do have CAD news later at 130, and we do have US dollar news later at 130. So do be aware of that, guys, if you're trading any CAD or USD pairs. But yeah, there's not much to explain why we saw such a move right now. I mean, there was some Euro news, so that probably explains maybe why we saw that weakness in the Euro and the Euro USD just falling. Because Pound USD didn't fall as much, but we still are seeing some strength in the US dollar. AUD USD didn't really fall as much. It was really just Euro just really falling, to be honest. USD CAD not seeing much strength, so yeah, it was mainly Euro. So that might have been why the Euro fell like it did, because we did have some Euro use, but only medium impact. But yeah, that does not look like medium impact on the charts there. It looks like high. But yeah, other pairs didn't see as much movement as Euro USD did, but we are still seeing that strength. So maybe news later on might have something to do with that as well. Oh, you got into a sell for Euro USD. Nice, Rex. Catching the trades this week. Well done. I mean, that was a big move there. Oh yeah, because I remember during the stream yesterday, you were in some sells around here. I'm pretty sure on the 15-minute. Yeah, we did hold that area. So like I said, if price was to hold this area, expecting a move there. I didn't expect to see that dump to the downside, to be honest, but we did see a nice move there. So well done. There was a nice area of resistance that we held in the 15-minute. Price respected it, and it's still looking very, very bearish. So nice trade there. Yeah, sure. I'll take a look at Eurocad for you. Eurocad. Yeah, Eurocad's looking very, very bearish. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, either. Was looking for more upside for Eurocad. I was expecting price to probably get back into these highs up here from the 4H. Probably get back into these levels again. Because we were expecting a really nice trend line here, and I was expecting price just to continue that journey, come and test that resistance up there. Then maybe from there we might see something. But yeah, Eurocad is looking weak and it's taking out that trend line as well. And it's looked like potentially, I'm not going to say reversal, but we could be seeing more downside for this one, maybe coming back into some other areas of support. We do have this support back down here, potentially price could come into around, well, just below the 1.48 mark. You know, if looking at this from a daily point of view, especially with that momentum there, this is probably where I do expect price to go. Coming into a little bit area of support now, so if it breaks through that, that's probably where price will go. But yeah, we're looking very, very bearish for here for Eurocad, and it looks like we are turning around to the downside now. So I'll probably say, if anything, if we do see a little bit more upside, that could be just another excuse to set it back down again into that level there, if we can break through this level here, of course. But yeah, it's just looking very bearish right now. Got a bit of a trend line forming as well. Connect that wick as well. So yeah, yeah, I was expecting more upside for Eurocad, but CAD yesterday we saw a lot of strength in the CAD. We had some CAD news yesterday, and it kind of took its time to see that strength in the CAD, and it really just kicked off as the day got on, coming into last night as well. You can see CAD Usdchf flying to the upside, CAD JPY. Did see some upside, but again, nothing too crazy. But yeah, CAD is definitely on the stronger side of things recently. So yeah, that could be, you know, another cause for Eurocad falling, but I think there's just more weakness in the euro, if anything, really. Nice, Rex. Done well this week. That's good. Just keep it up. USD Chf. Let's see what's happening with USD Chf. Oh wow, okay, so big push to the upside as well for USD Chf. Okay, I haven't checked this pair this morning, to be honest, and as you can see, it's looking really strong. So again, the CHF is also another reason for this one, because US dollar is strong, yes, but CHF is really, really weak as well. I think CHF JPY is really broken through out of this consolidation. So CHF is really weak, and US dollar is really strong. So we've seen that massive move, and you know, we are looking quite bullish there. It is coming back into these highs, I would imagine. Yes, it is. That resistance there. So it's coming to a nice level to sell from. I do have to admit. On the daily time frame as well, it's a nice level. So again, if you're looking at the lower time frames, it could be good to catch a few pips of this one. I'm not too sure how far it will go, just because, you know, of the strength we're seeing of the US dollar and the weakness of the CHF. It might break through the level, but if we can see some nice signs of holding, then yeah, we could see some nice downside for USD CHF. We have this trend line here, which we've been talking about. Price still holding on to it. So if we're really lucky from this level, we could see maybe another test of that trend line. I'm not sure if we will though, because of that momentum. I don't really like the momentum there. But yeah, if we can hold on to that, there's looking downside. It's looking good for some downside for USD CHF. So yeah, I do agree with you there, Rex. Morning, Namzi. How are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well, to be honest. GA, yeah, sure thing. Okay, pound AUD. Okay, so we've seen some nice upside for this one recently. Price has been pushing back, coming to a key level of resistance here on the higher time frames, the daily 1.89500. That's the area that I'm expecting pound AUD to get to. Right now it's having a tough time, but I can still see a little bit more upside for pound AUD back into here, and then from there I think some nice sales could be forming. We're just looking to play this range, basically that resistance, that support, looking for price to come back, respect that resistance, come back to that support, either break through it or hold and you know, see some more upside and come back down again. But that's basically what I'm looking to do with pound AUD, just to play that range from that resistance into that support. Previously what price did there, it's not at it yet, so I'm looking for more upside. Whether we get that or not, again, I'm not too sure, but I would say I do have a sell bias for this one. Not based on the trend or anything, just because we're coming to a strong resistance and I think we'll get a nice bounce from that area. But yeah, I would say a little bit more upside for pound AUD. It is forming these higher lows here, so potentially that could be happening, coming to that resistance. But yeah, I'd say a little bit more upside for pound AUD, then we can see some downside again for this pair. But yeah, I'll probably be looking for sells at this level there and play that range to the downside. Nice, Brex. I mean, keep following the wave. I mean, you know, don't go against the wave. The wave's your friend. Okay, so that's good, Dhamsy, then. If you're in the buy, where'd you get into the buy from? Because that's looking like a good trade there. It's taking its time. Do have to admit, pound AUD is taking its time, but I think, you know, with how price is forming those higher lows, it's looking good. It's looking good for upside there. So yeah, I'll probably say a bit more upside back up to 1.89500. Nice psychological level there as well, and then from there we might see some downside again. But yeah, it's looking like a good move up still on the cards, especially if you do see that AU weakness, because I believe AU is still looking quite weak. As you can see, the bearish price action is still there. Looking at that hourly time frame, you know, we're still moving to the downside with some momentum there. So what I do believe AU is in a bit of a, yeah, it still is in that daily support, but it just depends if price wants to break through or not. If it does break through, then AU, yeah, a lot more weakness. If it can hold, then we might see some strength. And if you do see some weakness, that will help you trade out, to be honest, you know, send price up a little bit higher. And then from that 1.89500 mark, there might be some nice sales from there. Okay, not too bad then. I mean, yeah, I mean, just follow your trade out, set your plan out. I'm expecting a little bit more upside anyway as well. Back up to here, I'm not going to touch the trade, touch the pair yet with my sells. I'm going to wait for price to get to this level, wait for some price action, and then maybe some sells. So yeah, I think we can still see some upside, especially with this price action here. It looks like price is kind of doing this sort of thing. Where's the tool? When we got like a resistance there, and price makes higher lows into that higher lows, yeah, higher lows into that level. Normally that eventually means we're gonna break to the upside with that price action. So that's what I'm going to be expecting there for pound AUD, and yeah, looking to get sales from that level up there. So we're in agreement with that. Nice. Usdcad's a funny pair recently. I've been looking for buys for this one, but it's been a bit all over the place. I've been looking at this daily trend line. People that have been on my stream recently would know this trend line I'm talking about, but we did get a daily close below, so it's giving me a bit of the heebie-jeebies. I'm not too sure for this one anymore, because basically the whole plan of this trade was to hold that trend line and see some continuation, but we're closing back below. And DXY is still looking strong, I believe. Yeah, DXY is still looking strong, so it looks like we're still going to see some strength in the dollar. So I don't really want to go and sell USDCAD because it looks like we're going to get some strength in the dollar, so it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up if I want to sell USDCAD, whilst at the same time expect strength in the dollar. So I'm just thinking it must be that CAD is really, really strong, pushing USDCAD down. So if that, you know, keeps up with the CAD, then yeah, I'm not going to be too focused on selling CAD JPY anymore. I was looking to play it off this support now time resistance basically, because I'm still expecting more downside back into areas around here, 85,500, 85,600. So I'm looking for a dump to the downside. But yeah, on my head, I'm just a little bit hesitant now because I'm not too sure. I think the CAD might keep that strength up and break through that level. Of course, I'm a price action based trader, so I'll wait for price action to confirm my trades and confirm my bias, but in the back of my head, I'm not too sure if you'll see some CAD weakness coming up. GU is not doing too bad. It's been playing with me quite a lot, I've got to be honest. We can see we had a nice entry here. Price went up against me very, very quickly there. I thought it was going to stop me out. It came right back down. It went back up again. That was during the night. And then I went to bed and it came back down. I was expecting it to go stop me out. And back in the day, I would have just exited this trade because I'll be going to bed. I'll see it's probably, if I measure that, probably about 6 pips away from my stop loss. I'll be like, yeah, that's going to stop me out. I'm just going to exit the trade now and go to bed. But yeah, I just decided, just respect my stop loss. I put it there for a reason. So I just said, I'll let it stop me out, and then it didn't stop me out, and it came down. It's actually just about in profit. So, I'm not overly confident still about this trade because I probably would expect it to move by now. But if we can keep up that strength for the DXY, then I think we can see pound USD fall. DXY is coming into a key level now, so I might be expecting a bit of a retrace from the DXY now. So I think pound USD might consolidate for a little bit, but if we can see a breakthrough that level the DXY is trading at now, this level here, then I think pound USD should be falling to that downside, hitting that target maybe today or tomorrow, depending what type of momentum we see. But yeah, pound USD is looking alright. Use a slightly bigger stop loss this time. It has paid off. There's been trades recently where I've used slightly too much stop loss. It's just about taking me out and then moved in my direction. So learn from a lesson there, and hopefully it's going to work out, but we will see. I'm not sure about Usdcad either, Rex. I'm not sure about Usdcad either. It's broken through my trend line there, but price action on daily looks bearish to me. But I'm not sure about the sell because I'm still expecting more strength in the US dollar. I'm selling pound USD, so based off that trade, I should be expecting a strength in the dollar. But then here, it doesn't really make too much sense. So I think I'm just going to let this pair go. It's going to be one of those pairs where you think there's opportunity, but you're not too sure about it, not too confident, so you just let it be. Rather than risking my money on it, I'm just going to let it be and just monitor and see what happens. And if it's something I can learn from, I'll note it down and learn from it in the future. But right now, I'm just going to stay away from it. I'm looking at see what happens, but yeah, I'm not planning to trade USD CAD. I'm not too sure of that one. I'm just not too sure. DXY is still looking strong. Euro USD is falling, so yeah, again, if you can see that retracement on Euro USD, that would be good. But I'm not too sure if we will get that simply because of all that momentum. You could still see another strong close on the next 4H candle, but we're looking at more downside here for Euro USD. And the USD, we were looking at this pair yesterday. Well, I was at least looking at this pair during the stream yesterday, saying sales will be good from around this level here. I think we did see some NZD announcements or something because we did just skyrocket to the upside. Now price is back down there again, so essentially if you just ignore all of this price action here, ignore all of that, basically price has just held that level, and this here is just a stop hunt basically, because that's the level people will be looking to get involved at. I was looking to get involved at that level, but I got into pound USD instead, so I didn't take this trade. But yeah, if I did, I probably would have been stopped out because of that announcement. Now price has come back and respecting the resistance, so I still do have that bearish bias for USD. On the daily time frame, we came to a really nice key level of resistance. Well, price support, now time resistance that we're holding. I'm simply looking for price to come back and retest this area of support 0.70600. So that's what I'm expecting USD to head to. So yeah, if I'm not in pound USD, I'll definitely be looking to get into some USD trades. We are looking good for this one. We're breaking through that trend line. Looks like we're getting a retest there as well. So if you can keep up that price action, maybe get a nice close like that, could be seeing some nice downside back into that level. And yeah, if I wasn't in pound USD, I would definitely be looking to get involved in an USD short. But there's no point in me getting into this short because I'm still playing off the strength of the US dollar, so it's either they both work or they both fail. So I'm not going to take it, but it does look good in terms of price action and everything. And again, that's another reason why I'm not taking USD CAD short, because I'm still expecting that strength in the dollar. USD JPY, we tanked to the downside again for this pair. Massive move. We've been looking for shorts for a long time for this one. Didn't get into any just because I kind of just let the pair be. It was moving sideways. I wasn't too sure what to do, and now it's finally broke to the downside. So maybe now we can get some retracement, because our targets for USD JPY is still these lows all the way down there. I still think we can take them out and see some in the lower lows. So there is still some pips to catch. There's still some pips to trade here for USDJPY. So if you can see some retracement, break and retest will be great. And then some shorts to the downside. And if we can see that, there's still about 80 pips to go. So I can see a lot more downside for USDJPY. But yeah, it needs to retrace for me. It's kind of just moving sideways right now, so I'm not paying too much attention to it. I think it's come back into this support, which is why it's moving sideways probably. So as you can see, support there, we've tested it again. So if it can break through that, then I'm expecting shorts back down to 108,700, but USDJPY is looking very, very bearish. Gold was seeing price come to the downside, so again we were looking at some shorts for gold yesterday. Again, didn't get any because I took pound USD, but gold is flying off to the downside. We were looking at shorts here, and I said it would be nice to get another retest of this level. We did see a nice spike come in, and that was essentially the retest, but it was also like a liquidity grab as well, because again a lot of people have been selling here, and then yeah, the wick to the upside takes some people out, and then the dump. So yeah, that would have been a nice confirmation on the lower time frames. But yeah, gold's still looking bearish, and all we got was a break and retest really of that key level of resistance. So gold, I think it's time to start moving to the downside, especially with how Euro USD is looking, how the DXY is looking. I think gold is really going to start to sell off soon. So yeah, I'm looking at this support here, again not too far away, but and truly I think we can come back down to these levels here for gold, 1752. I think that's the next target for gold, because all we're doing now is just consolidating, building up orders, and I think it's going to start to tank soon. And if DXY can break through the level it's at now, which is 92,700, I think we're onwards and upwards to 93, and that will really take gold down. Yeah, 100%. That wick would have taken out a lot of people. I think there was someone on our stream yesterday actually, who was in some sales for gold, and he had his stop loss at 1806. And I was looking at yesterday, and I was like hoping it didn't take him out, but it just literally wicked as 1806, probably exactly where his stop loss is, which is a shame really, because he had the exact bias that I had. We were both looking for those sells. Only thing is, I think he got in a little bit too early. As I said, wait for the double top, but he was already in the trade, and he had a stop loss at 1806. So yeah, that would have just about taken him out. But yeah, I mean that's also a lesson to learn there. Stop loss placement is literally, I'll probably say it's slightly more important than your entry place. And I know a lot of people focus on their entries, trying to get the best entries, the tightest entries, but really it's all about the stop loss, because your stop loss determines whether your trade has failed or succeeded. You could take a sell here, where a lot of people will be taking sells, and put your stop loss all the way up there. You be in profit right now, but obviously your stop loss is huge, so your risk reward is very small. But at the end of the day, you're actually making money, where the rest of the people lost money. So I'm not saying have your stop loss all the way up there, but have some logic behind it. Also give it some wiggle room, because especially for a pair like gold, you're going to see a lot of wicks like this taking people out. Not too long ago we saw a wick down there, just take all these wicks out there. Again, that would have stopped a lot of people out, and then we saw the move. The same thing happened again there, and then gold does that again and again. You can see here with these wicks, it does it all the time. So especially if you're going to trade gold, give yourself some extra wiggle room, and definitely put it above some highs as well, because if not, gold can take you out really easily. Yeah, the bank just targeted him exclusively. It's deep, but I mean, I know I've been in that position many times, and it took me a long time to learn that lesson. So, I definitely feel his pain. Hi Chia, how are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Stop tower pound USD. Yeah, I mean pound USD is a weird one, because I'm in that trade, but for some reason I gave myself a lot extra room for this trade. Normally I would have my stop loss maybe not so big around there. But recently I've been stopped out of a few trades where I've been right in the direction, but I've just been stopped out, by a few pips. Then it goes my direction. So pound USD, I decided to give myself a little bit more room up around there. To be fair, the post I did on my Telegram channel, I gave myself, I gave you guys more room as well. I had the stop loss around there as well for the Telegram as well. So, you know, it just about came near that stop loss and then moved in my direction. So that might be something I bring more into my trading, to be fair, and start introducing wider stop losses. Because at the end of the day, it's also gives me less stress as well, because I've got that extra room. I know if I'm in drawdown, you know, I've got a bit of room for price to later come back in my reaction, in my direction. But yeah, I don't normally have such a wide stop loss, but it looks like potentially it could be paying off. Selling NU, NJ, and Usdchf. Okay, let's see what's going on for the NZD pairs then. NZD, NZJPY. Okay, so when did you get into did you get in this morning, or I mean not this morning because this morning is like afternoon to you because you're in Cambodia, but yeah, what time did you get in? But yeah, anyway, I was probably expecting more downside for these NZD pairs anyway. I mean, these NZD pairs were probably the pairs that had the biggest move the past 2-3 weeks now to the upside. So we, you know, did see a lot of pairs flying up. NZD probably gave us the biggest move, as the USD as well. So yeah, NU is looking good. I was just speaking earlier about NZD USD, looking at some shorts for this one. This one's looking really, really good. Expecting more upside for the dollar as well. And yeah, we've seen some nice push, not pushes, I'll say wicks, I would say, to the upside here. Nice spikes come back down, spikes come back down, spikes come back down. A lot of them were news events, but yeah, my biases still stay the same for the USD. Still expecting a push back down to 0.70600. So yeah, I said if I wasn't in my pound USD shorts, I would definitely be in some NZD USD shorts. So I do agree with that one. It's looking good. It looks like we're having a break and retest of this trend line here as well. So that trend line there, looks like we're having a break and retest of that. So if we can keep that coming, then yeah, it's looking really good. NZJPY, not as clean as NZD USD, but again, they're very, very similar pairs. So if NZD USD is going to fall, you know, there's a very strong chance NZJPY is going to fall with it as well, and just continue in that direction. But yeah, NZJPY is looking good. Set some new lows previously. Nice spike to the upside. Again, that was the news as well that we just saw for NZD USD, that push there, and then it's come right back down. So I think we've seen some retrace, but overall more continuation for both of those pairs as well. 0.71236. Okay, so up there, nice trade there, Chia. Should be in some nice profit for that one as well. So yeah, I mean, where's your take profit for NZD USD? Is it around the 0.70500 area, or are you looking at this support here? Because to be honest, you know, we could reject that area there as well. So yeah, I'm interested in where's your take profit. And yeah, Usdchf. Usdchf is a bit of a dodgy one. Again, I do have a sell bias for this one. I will be looking to sell it. Usdchf, definitely one of my least favorite pairs to trade. So yeah, definitely haven't traded this one in a long time. Can't remember the last time I actually traded the pair, to be fair. But yeah, I do analyze it. It's a little bit choppy previously. We did see a nice dump to the downside a couple times. Looks like we're in some retracement mode. So yeah, it just depends for this one, where's your stop loss, because you know, this retracement here could continue for how long, you know, Usdchf wants to continue. It could even push back into these highs here. Price action is not looking the best for me there. But yeah, it does look like we're having a bit of a bear flag here. Nice drop to the downside and now we're retracing. So if that can end, you know, we could see some nice impulse moves again to the downside. A little bit of a channel there. So maybe if we can, you know, break to the downside out of that, could see some nice downside there for Usdchf. But yeah, it is a very choppy pair, and it just tends to be quite stubborn. So if it can break through there, great. We'll be looking good at some more sells on that break and retest potentially. But Like I said, it's had a massive move to the upside. I do have that sell bias as well. I think it's slowly turning bearish, but it is taking its time. Okay, yeah, that makes sense there. Previous wick for NU. Probably about just take that wick out as well. So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, those are like good trades. I do agree with all of them. Gold. Oh, you're gonna buy gold, Namzi. Fair play. That's brave of you. Gold's looking really bearish. And so yeah, if you're gonna buy that, fair play to you. I mean, take some bravery to do that. Because you know, I wouldn't go near gold looking like that. Good morning, Sherry Ann. Yeah, sure. I'll take a look at Euro NZD. On the higher time frames. Okay, so yeah, Euro NZD, another pair that's been trending to the downside quite nicely. It looks like we are breaking out this consolidation here on the daily chart. So I'm expecting more downside for Euro NZD. Now I still have my targets all the way down here. This is where I'm expecting price to get to 0.63500. So that's what I'm expecting price to head to. Excuse me. We've just broken through this support here, so really key area of support, now acting as resistance. You can see already wicked into this area a few times recently. So yeah, I think Euro NZD back down to this area as long as we can stay below that resistance. We do kind of have minor support here, which could send price back up again. But if we can take out this level here, then it should be, you know, smooth sailing all the way back down into these lows here. So going to the 4H time frame, you can see momentum's there as well. We're still putting in these lower highs. You know, there's another one, there's another one. So I would imagine if you're looking for some entries for this one, I'll probably wait for price to probably push through into this level, come back from another lower high, and see if you can catch some sales. But as long as we stay below this resistance, I'm expecting, you know, price to eventually get down to that daily low there. If we start taking out this level, we might see a bigger retracement, or it might just be a false breakout. You know, we might fall back into this consolidation there on the daily. But as long as we can stay below this level, which is 1.66500, I'm expecting a push down to 1.63500. So yeah, just wait for another pullback, because this is definitely, you know, price having that another leg to the downside. You don't really want to get involved there. You want to get involved after the retracement. So, or break and retesting this level could be something as well. But if it was to retrace, that would be great. Wait for that lower high to get some wicks, maybe back at that same level as well. Then yeah, shorts back down into that support. Then if you can get a break down to those lows there as well. So yeah, I'm just seeing more downside for USD. It looks like we're having that breakout on the higher time frames. So yeah, just waiting for a pullback and then continuation back down into those lows there. Keep drawing that line. But yeah, more downside, and probably take out those lows as well. So maybe test 1.63. Good morning, Rebecca. Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, so you have a fairly tight stop loss there, Namzi. What time frames do you trade on? Is it 50-minute? Eurocad and GA. Yeah, Eurocad, we're seeing a lot of downside for this pair. You know, I'm thinking it's probably going to smash through into these levels here. I mean, I was expecting price to get to that resistance, but it's slowly turned bearish. It's failed to break through some key resistance, and now we've seen a lot of momentum, you know, pushing us to the downside. So Eurocad, if anything, I'll wait for some sell setups for that one. It could be some nice buys. I do have to admit, it is coming to that support there, so there could be some nice buys from this level across there, but I wouldn't take those buys. It could be maybe something on the 15-minute, you know, short, maybe 30, 40, 50 pips move. But I think the bigger move is probably back down to this area here. So if you can see a nice bounce to the upside, that would be nice, and then wait for that next lower high. Again, like I said, you know, we've got a bit of a trend line forming here as well. next lower high maybe around there, and then shorts back into that same level, and if we can get a break into that level down there. So Eurocad for me is looking bearish after this price action, especially breaking through this trend line. Oh, that's not a trend line, that's a fib. Breaking through this trend line here as well. So, you know, with that momentum, the trend line break, expecting that lower high, and then more shorts to the downside for that one. And GA as well, you know, GA is looking good, just waiting for that resistance, and then some shorts to the downside as well for that one. What's up, William? How are you doing? How was your birthday on Tuesday? Hope it was a good one. Yeah, yeah, I was looking at GU and GJ back then. We were expecting more upside. You know, I was agreeing with your analysis, or at least your bias for those pairs. But yeah, a massive crash to the downside. We had that. Was that on Tuesday? Yeah, I think that was Tuesday. Big crash we had to the downside. And yeah, we got a strong daily closure there as well. So it was a bit of a fake out, I think, just a fake out, because I think it was news. I think it was news related. I think it was news related. So you know, we had that massive crash to the downside, and now, you know, just like that, my bias has flipped for these pairs. I'm seeing more downside for GJ, because that was a really big move there, and I'm currently in some sales for GU as well. After that happened, so I was expecting a push to 1.39. We got that push to 1.39. I said if we take out 1.39 for GU, we're most likely going to push to 1.4. However, we saw that massive rejection there, so now I'm getting in on the retrace, looking for a push back into that support. So yeah, I've changed my bias for those pairs completely. Expecting more downside for GJ and GU now. But yeah, I was looking for that upside, but then pretty sure it was fundamentals that came in, and now I'm looking at more downside for them. Thank you, Spiritual Bandit. Much appreciated, much appreciated, man. Or woman. Don't know. I don't know there. Don't assume gender. But yeah, much appreciated, guys. If you are enjoying the content, you know, feel free to leave a like. I do appreciate that, guys. And yeah, subscribe to the channel. Why not? You know, join the gang. We're all here to help each other. You know, I'm here to help you. You're here to help me as well. Okay, yeah, fairs, Namdi. I mean, that's what I do as well. But just on the higher time frames, like I use my daily to identify support and resistance. And I use kind of the daily and weekly to judge potential direction as well. And I scale into the 4H and the hourly to monitor price action. So I do what you do, just basically on the higher time frames, really. Morning, Arla. How are you? Welcome back to the stream. Hope you are well. Nice, made 2% up yesterday. Nice. What? So that is, if you lose 2%, do you deprive yourself from sleep then? Just based on that logic. I'm joking. Yeah, yeah, Eurocad and GA are both looking good to sell. I mean, GA for me, I just want a little bit more upside for that one first. Back into this level here. I understand it's at a really nice level, however, because, you know, 1.89 is a nice psychological level. We could just find resistance there and plummet. I know pound AUD does respect its psychological levels really well. But yeah, I would like to see a push into that resistance just slightly above where price is now. If we're going to daily, I can show you guys that resistance there. So basically looking just to play that range from that resistance back down into that support there. So that's essentially my idea for it, but you know, it's just not quite there yet. So pound AUD, you know, could fall to downside from here, but the price action looks like it's probably going to give it one more move up, and then I'll take that to the downside there. So yeah, I agree with that bias. Pound AD looking for shorts, Eurocad looking for shorts as well. If we can give us that next little high, more shorts down to there. I mean, Euro is still looking really weak. I think Euro is weak across the board, I'm pretty sure. Eurocad, Euro Pound, Euro JPY. Euro JPY is still falling as well. I was expecting to see some upside, but this one is just falling and falling. It might be that Euro JPY is slowly on its way to come back and test these lows all the way down here. 128 on the dot. So yeah, it looks like prices just come up, found a nice double top here, slightly took out those highs, so grabbed some liquidity above that previous high, and now it looks like it's just on its way back to 128. Looks like it's on its way back to 128. So yeah, I mean, it's just following price action, and that gives me, a good idea that potentially pound JPY as well, if we can start seeing some more weakness in the pound, we'll probably follow behind it as well, slowly though, back down to this support here as well. So that's why I said if I can get some nice retracement on pound JPY, and then we could probably see some really nice bearish trending market here. And actually, if I add that trend line in as well, from these highs. Now I've been looking for a retest of that trend line, still haven't quite got it yet, but if we can do, great, because I will be looking at entries around there, and then a big short back down to 149,600. And pound JPY does give you a lot of pips. That's over 200 pips there. So I'm expecting a big drop for pound JPY. This won't probably take place in the next 2 days. This could be a week or two, depending if price consolidates at some stage. But yeah, pound JPY is looking good for sells. You can get some nice retracement because it's had such a big sell-off recently. If I get a fib on that, it hasn't really done much retracement. 50% all the way up there as well. So if it can pull back into the trend line, great. I'll look to take that down and get kicked out and sleep in the car. Yeah, better not lose 2% then. You better hang on to that 2% you made yesterday. But yeah, the markets have been quite volatile this week, guys. Very volatile. So again, I know some people in some CAD JPY shorts got stopped out with the news there. So we've seen a lot of news, manipulating a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot of people, because that always does manipulate people, but recently it's been more than usual, I'd say. I mean, I almost was taking out my pound USD, but I used a slightly bigger stop loss this time. If I used my normal stop loss, I would have been taken out of that trade. And the USD, that was a big move, and I was debating between which one of these two pairs to get involved in, the USD or pound USD. I ended up taking pound just because the risk reward looked a little bit better. But yeah, if I did take this one, I would definitely be stopped out with that big push there. So again, it's a little bit of luck though, I'm not going to lie to you. Trading, I've kind of come to terms with a little bit of luck, because the way I trade, I have a wide range of pairs, over 20, I'm pretty sure, might be coming up to 30 pairs that I can potentially trade. But I do create a watch list, which narrows it down to like 3 or 4. But yeah, of the pairs I can trade, I can find setups, pretty much, every single week, 5, 6, 7, 10 plus setups if I really wanted to every week that do fit my strategy. But it's all about narrowing it down, and then sometimes you can get 2 setups that look quite similar, and you're not sure which one to take, and you just take one, and luckily you take the one that doesn't fail. And that's literally what pound USD is to me. I just took the one that just hasn't failed. So you create your own luck at the end of the day, really. Bias for pound NZD and Euro AUD. Pound NZD, this one is a little bit funny, this one, because I've been expecting a bit more retracement for pound NZD, but it just hasn't happened, and I think it's trying to get ready for another move down. Because we've had this massive dump to the downside. We broke out of this consolidation here with that price action there, and it looks like it's getting ready for some more downside. On my weekly analysis, I said there's a good chance price could get back down to this support here, 1.92, but I'm just not too sure if price wants to retrace a little bit more first, maybe retest that as resistance, then it comes down, or because of all these wicks that is forming here, it might just decide to do that now, or maybe even come and test that support there first. So pound NZD, I'll probably be only looking for sales for this one. Buys are just not looking too good, especially with this price action here. I believe we've taken out this trend line here as well, so you can see if I connect the bodies here of the candles, price is taking out this trend line, and it looks like it's holding as resistance. Not the most convincing test, I do have to admit, but if pound NZD can hold on to that, it looks like potentially getting a bit of a bear flag here. Price dumping to the downside. This looks like retracement back up to 1.95, so again a nice psychological level there of resistance. It looks like price has held that, and yeah, if we can stay below that trend line, we'll probably expect to see another swing to the downside, at least back into this support here. Oh, sub, love to see that. Driffen Sodi, I hope I pronounced that correctly. But yeah, welcome to the gang. Thank you for subbing, it does mean a lot. But yeah, pound NZD is looking good for more downside, and if you can hold that trend line as resistance, then I'll probably expect to see price back at those lows, 1.93500, and if you can break that, then probably 1.92 as well down there. So that's probably what I'm expecting for pound NZD, unless it gets back above that trend line and this was a false break. If it does something like this and it pops back above, then that bigger retrace that I'll speak on earlier could be on, but now it just looks quite bearish. And Euro AUD, this one again I'll probably say downside as well for Euro AUD. Euro AUD is kind of like pound AUD to me. It's kind of doing the exact same setup that I'm looking for pound AUD, except this one's actually tested that area, so really nice resistance there. We'll be acting as resistance there again, and just looking to catch a little bit of a move to the downside from that area. We've got a trend line here forming, so that's probably the next place I expect price to get to. If we can break through that trend line, then we'll probably head back down to these lows, but there could also be that sort of move happening as well. So yeah, pound AUD, I would say sells as long as we can hold this as resistance, sells to the downside. So if we can potentially form another lower high, that could be another opportunity to sell it. But yeah, it's looking like Euro AUD is very, very bearish right now, so I would say more downside for this one. And then yeah, next target is probably that trend line there, around the 1.60500 mark. Yeah, exactly, true. They were very bullish. I mean, I was expecting GJ to probably continue back up to 153. It almost did get there and potentially even break through that resistance. And then same with GU as well. I was saying on the stream that 1.4 is looking good if you can get one past 1.39. And just like that, from that sell-off, I've changed my whole bias and I'm in a sell position. So it's really good to stay on your toes, especially in the Forex markets where your bias could change quite quickly. Some other markets not so much. A lot of trending markets, you basically just have that bullish bias, and if price retraces down, you just get ready to buy again, really. But Forex, you have to be a lot more flexible, to be honest. Usdchf, I'm looking at that pair yet. Let's see what's going on. Usdchf, okay, a bit of a move up again, because that was the weakness in the CHF. CHF is really bombing to the downside, so a lot of these CHF pairs have been flying up. Usdchf one of them. But yeah, Usdchf, we've really seen a big move to the upside. Not much retracement. You can see just a few bearish candles here and there, not much retracement. It looked like previously we were going to reverse from here, but prices respected this support quite nicely, and yeah, we had another swing back up again. So Usdchf, it's a bit of a funny pair, to be honest. It's broken out of this massive channel that looks like it went on forever, and now it's broken through that, and this could just be one massive bull flag, to be honest. Something like we just had here. I know I'm looking at the higher time frames now, but I'm just doing it for myself right now. Then I'm going to drop to the lower time frames in a second. But yeah, it's looking like potentially we could be having something like that again. But yeah, we are still looking quite bullish here. I think Usdchf is ready to see some downside, not because I expect it to go down, just to see some healthy retracement, you know, at least something like this, something like that on the daily time frame, because we've seen just, you know, consecutive bullish candle after bullish candle. Now we're starting to see some bearish candles, but we haven't really seen any downside. So yeah, Usdchf is looking good for sales. We do have a level just up there that potentially price might move to before it sees any major downside. So Usdchf might do something like this. It might come back into these highs, maybe because it hasn't taken out that wick yet. It hasn't taken out that wick yet. If I zoom in, you guys can see that a little bit better. So it's probably going to push up one more time, take out that wick. Might see some downside again, but it might form a higher low, push back up, and then from there we might start to see sell off for Usdchf and see some real downside for this pair. But yeah, it's very, very choppy. We're probably going to take out that wick, and from there probably some nice sales can come back in. But I think I still see a little bit more upside back into that daily zone before we do see that sell off. Which resistance are you talking about? May 7th. Where's May 7th? May 7th. May 7th. Okay, so May 7th here. So you're talking about this level around there, that resistance, or this resistance here? Because Usdchf has been creating a lot of levels, to be honest, with how it's moving. You know, that's a level, that's a level, that's a level. Every time it's moved up and down, it's formed levels. So there's many levels of resistance and support. The main one I'll focus on is probably this one, just above the 0.66. So it's a nice psychological level as well. Yeah, I agree as well, Namzi. I mean, when you get consolidation like that, it's definitely for a big move somewhere. Either this is just a big fake out for price to come back down, or getting ready for a big move up back into those highs. So yeah, definitely when price does consolidate like that, it's definitely getting ready for a big move. Yeah, but right now I think we might see a little bit more upside first to take out that wick, because you can see that's literally what price has been doing since then. It's been taking out that wick there, taking out. So I was probably expected to take out and then see some downside. But yeah, I definitely agree. I'll probably be looking for sells for NZD across the board, really. Usdchf, Usdjpy, Usdcad, all across the board. Because we've seen a lot of bullish momentum for these pairs, so I think we could be due some sells now, but we will see if we can get that weakness. Yeah, sure. RDK, we'll take a look now. Okay, so recently we've seen some nice downside there, breaking through this support here. Now we're starting to hold that as resistance, probably take that across actually. A bit of a level going through here at 15,760, resistance support. Now we're holding that as resistance. Overall the market is still quite bullish, but we might sell off a little bit one more time. We're definitely holding that area, so I think if I'm about to say pound, if we can hold this resistance here, it's looking like potentially might come up for another time, because this is giving me some bull flag vibes here. Very impulsive leg, very strong retracement. We might push back into here, and then if you can hold that as resistance, there could be some nice sales coming back into this support. So that could be a really nice trade there. But at the same time, you know, if we do drive back into this resistance and take through it and break through that level, this will now be acting as support, and essentially just have that false break there on the daily. But it probably would be best if we wait for a daily candle closure above this level to confirm we've actually broken back inside of it, because 4 hour is not really doing it justice really. So yeah, I'll probably say sells is probably what I'm looking for if I was looking to trade if I was looking to trade this market back at that resistance. But I probably want to see another move up just to confirm that as resistance one more time, because like I said, this is giving me, you know, bull flag vibes. It could just be getting ready to break through to the upside again, And the only way we'd find that out is if we do break to the upside but fail to break through this and start to see some downside again. That would just be price coming up for a double top really, and some sells will be looking good back down into that support. But if you do see that bull flag and price breaks through that area, wait for the retest and probably see a lot more upside for this market. So yeah, I hope that analysis helped there. But I'll probably say one more push to the upside will make things a lot clearer. Yeah, so currently only in this GU position. It is taking its time. Like I said, DXY is at a really key level of resistance, so I'm probably going to expect to see some downside for the DXY, just because with this very explosive move, we haven't seen much retracement from this level. So I'll probably expect price to retrace some of this at least, and then maybe have another attempt to try to break through it, and then maybe some upside could be coming in nicely if you can break through that level. But yeah, like I said, GU is a bit of a weird one. It hasn't filled me too much confidence. It's obviously respected that resistance eventually and then came back down, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it might be coming back for another retest of this area here, form another lower high and then dump, but we will see. Euro USD retracement, no, I wouldn't take that. Yeah, I'll be looking for sells for Euro USD, if anything. I know retracement is looking like it could be on the cards right now, but I wouldn't take that, especially if that 4H candle closed. It's not the way I like to trade, or I look to trade. When stuff like this happens, I definitely wait for retracement and I follow that momentum. I don't like to take trades in the opposite direction to that. So yeah, I would wait for price to retrace back for me first, either retest that as resistance, something like that, and then take some sells to the downside. And that's the only way I'll get involved with Euro USD. I'm definitely not looking to buy the pair. It could be some nice buys. it has really tanked to the downside. It is due some retracement back up again, so there could be some nice temporary buys back up there. But that's not an opportunity that I'll look to take or look to trade. So yeah, so no, that's a no for me. But if it does move up, I will be getting ready to sell it if I can get pound USD to break even. Because again, they're very similar pairs, so I don't want to take them both on with full risk. If I can get pound USD to break even, then yeah, Euro USD would be a nice trade to get in, because I still think there's a lot more downside for this one. We're looking at a move into this level here. If you can get a retest of that level back down here, that's 80 pips there, potentially on the cards to catch. So it is looking good. But yeah, it just hasn't retraced enough for me. Gold is still looking very, very bearish as well. Silver falling to the downside. So yeah, it looks like DXY is just seeing that strength, and if this does continue, I'm seeing price push into that 93 level, maybe even higher. But yeah, it's looking good for the DXY. But we do have some news coming out later. 1:30 I believe is the time for CAD and for NZD. So that will have a big say on what happens as well, because we are looking bullish now for the DXY, but that could change really, really quickly. With that news announcements, we could be looking bearish right now, and then this next candle could actually close back at these highs up there. So, no one really knows what's going to happen with the market. You just have to follow your plan and stay as disciplined as you can. And right now, my analysis is telling me more downside. So I'm just going to strictly only look for sells after you can get some retracement, and obviously get pound USD to break even. But yeah, there's no real pair that I'm really looking at that much right now, because I'm kind of trying to get pound USD to get to break even before I maybe get into another trade, depending if it correlates with pound USD a lot. But yeah, we'll see. CAD JPY could be a trade potentially, but again, like I said, I'm not too sure about the strength of the CAD. But you know, if we do reject this level, you know, I would probably say it looks like a good trade back down to these lows here. But we do actually have CAD news coming out later, so I'm not sure actually anymore. Yeah, it might not be the best. I mean, if it's weak, happy days, and then that would be a really good trade. But I'm not too sure because we do have that CAD. It could be strong. You know, it could do what happened there again. Nice wick and then dump. Better to enter after the news. Yeah, DXY has definitely been a huge roller coaster. I mean, I've changed my bias countless times with DXY. I mean, here alone, I've been bearish, bullish, and now I'm back bullish again. So yeah, I've been all over the shop here with DXY, and especially with this as well, and that sell off. I was expecting because we finally broke out of this area. You know, price was squeezing after this massive move up, so I was expecting finally to see some, you know, more downside, probably take out that low. We formed a higher low and we just kept going. So yeah, DXY has definitely been an interesting market recently. It's definitely had times where it's a lot easier to predict the price action, especially when price was here. You know, it was pretty much just down until we finally found support. But yeah, DXY I'm bullish now, but we will see what the news happens there. You know, everything can change quite quickly. You know, we saw what happened with GJ and GU. Price was looking very bullish up here. News came in, my bearish has changed. Yeah, there is some truth in that to some extent, but yeah, I've always used market orders. If I'm gonna switch to using, you know, setting my orders and waiting for price to activate it itself, I definitely need to do a lot more back testing on that. But yeah, essentially the way I trade is I do look for levels in the market. So essentially I could just set an order there, a limit order, or yeah, if I just set an order there and just let price, you know, activate itself. But yeah, I've always used market order, so that's just my go-to thing. And I also do wait for price action as well, but I understand that you can wait for price action and still set an order at the same time. So yeah, it might be something that I look at. You know, I have thought about it. It might be something to look at. Not now though, because you know I'm nicely into the swing of things. So it'll probably be something that I backtest on the side, and if it does start putting out better results than setting, while using market orders, then yeah, I will look into it. But I'll need to do a lot more backtesting onto that. And I do like the concept as well because it's like you set it and you just walk away and you let price activate it itself, so there's not so much stress. Whereas when you're using market orders, you know, you have to observe the market and you have to be there to press the buy, press the sell, and also there's a bit of emotions when you are pressing the buy and pressing the sell button. Sometimes, you know, you press it too late, sometimes you press it too early, sometimes you're rushing to press it. So there is a bit of emotions behind market orders. Whereas, you know, setting your order using limit orders, it's not really emotions based, it's more systematic. So that's a positive thing about it that I do like. But yeah, it's something that I do have to a lot more back testing on. But yeah, thank you for bringing that to my attention because I have been thinking about it. I mean, do you use limit orders yourself, David? Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to take a lot of practice, a lot of back testing, because pretty much all my trading career journey, I've just been using market orders. I've seen people use, limit orders, stop orders, but I haven't actually, spent the time of day to, see if it can actually work for me. So, yeah, it's definitely something I've got to back test. It's going to take some time to get used to. But yeah, it could work out for the better, because I know if you use it correctly, you can really maximize risk to reward. 1 to 6, 1 to 17, that's a very, very, very big difference in the reward you're gaining there. 1 to 6 is big in itself, 1 to 17 is really, really big. So there's definitely a lot of risk to reward benefits for it as well. Yeah, it might be smaller size. It probably is smaller size, because with limit orders, you're kind of just expecting price to bounce from there, with like no confirmation whatsoever, just expecting price to bounce from that area. Whereas waiting for price action, you've got evidence, to back up your idea of price, bouncing or continuing from a certain place. Whereas limit, you don't. So yeah, it's a fine line of if you're going to maximize your risk to reward or maximize, your win rate. I feel like win rate will be a little bit higher, because I know there'll be a lot of experienced people there with limit orders that can do it really well. But I feel like if I was to use limit orders, I'll probably sacrifice my win rate a little bit more. But then again, I'll probably maximize my risk to reward. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree there as well. Yeah, and Usdchf, I would be looking for sells if I was looking to trade that pair as well. Yeah, I mean, we've seen crazy upside movements, so I think it's just getting ready to sell off. We've seen crazy, all of this upside, and it's definitely been showing some evidence that is running out of steam with these sharp bearish corrections there. So, I do have that mind in the daily up there. It could get to, it might not, like I said, it might not. But the price action right now is still looking bullish here. We still have to respect that to some extent. So I probably expected to take out this wick, grab some liquidity above there, and then probably dive from there. But like I said, if it does form a higher low, because we still do have these wicks in here, price is still failing to break through. It probably will just push up into that daily resistance. But like I said, if it does really start to sell off, probably have to take out this level, and then we could see a lot more downside for Usdchf. But we definitely do have strong support here on just above 0.65. So that would probably be a nice level to take out. But for price action right now, the immediate price action is still looking bullish, and I'm probably expecting it to take out the high over there first, and then after that we might see some nice sells. But yeah, it's looking bullish right now still. But I do agree the bigger move is to the downside. For Usdchf, because we've already had such a big move going up. It's only a matter of time before we do see some downside. But then again, don't get too overly confident with it, because we've seen a massive move up. Momentum in the higher time frames is definitely with the bulls. So even though I think downside is looking good, it might just be retraced from this movement. So this massive move here, you can only see a little bit of downside, but from a daily perspective, it will be a lot for us on the lower time frames, and then just continue. So do you have to keep that in mind? But yeah, I do agree with you there. Yeah, true. That is true. The thing about market orders is as well, with limit orders, you put your stop loss. You either have like a certain amount of room that you leave for a stop loss, because you're setting your order at an area, a space in the market. So you have to. There's not really price action to put your stop loss underneath. So if I give this Usdchf here, for example, say if I was taking a sell here, using the market order, my stop loss say would be above here, you know, above that area. But if I was taking like a limit order, you know, it's at a general area, say if I'm expecting it to bounce from there or something, you know, there's no price action for me to put my stop loss behind. So it's either you're using like a specified amount of pips, so like 10, 20, 30 pips, or you use like supply and demand or small resistance to put your stop loss behind. So with that respect, it does give you that extra security to not get manipulated so much, because I know a lot of people who trade with market orders, you know, like myself, you know, we would put our stop loss just above that high there, and that's very, very easily manipulated, because it's just, you know, it's just a little wick to the upside will take me out, even though I think I'm protected because my stop loss is above that high. You know, it does happen a lot where we just see a wick to take out that high. So yeah, I do agree there. You probably would avoiding losses from that perspective, but then it's also difficult to put limit orders in the correct places, because sometimes, you know, you can put your limit order there and price just literally just run through your order like no tomorrow and show no rejection. Whereas a market order, you wouldn't have taken the trade in the first place because there was no price action. So it's definitely a compromise. But yeah, I think with the more experience you get with it, it probably will balance out. So yeah, I do agree with that. Okay, yeah, ATR as well, you can use that as a stop loss as well. That would probably work as well nicely in this strategy. No, I have not covered pound CHF yet. We'll take a look at that now. Pound CHF. Where's pound CHF? Pound CHF. Okay, here. Okay, wow. So pound CHF is still moving up, still looking very, very bullish. This pair has been a real pain in the neck, I'm not gonna lie to you, because I've been expecting a lot of downside for this pair lately for pound CHF since how it's moving, how it's been moving on the daily. You know, it looks like it's been slowly trying to break to the downside, but you can see the way it moves. You know, it just keeps going. Like you expect it to sell off, but no, it just keeps going. Especially with the price action we had here, it came back into 1.27. It held 1.27 to be fair to it, and I said if it breaks through 1.27, we're probably coming back down to 1.26, which is this support here. But yeah, we're back above that trend line again. So yeah, it's looking like it's more upside. We still do have this key daily resistance here, just underneath 1.28, this key daily resistance, as you can see there. Prices failed to break through this. I think once we break through this level, price will probably see a lot of upside here for pound CHF, because there's a lot of, you know, people with stop losses above these highs here, above this level. So when we do take it out, it's probably gonna be a big move to the upside. And as you can see, there's a lot of imbalance here as well. A lot of areas where price hasn't come back to, you know, go and retest and refill. So I think when we do take up this level, it's gonna be a really big move, and I think price is actually going to take up that level sooner than you guys think, or sooner than I think as well, especially if there's momentum here. So yeah, pound CHF is looking bullish. It's coming back into a really nice resistance. Would I sell that? Probably not, because of how price is moving right now. We might catch, you know, if you're looking in the lower time frames, there could be a nice short-term sell-off at resistance back into that trend line. But I wouldn't push my luck any further than that trend line, because the retest of that trend line could be good, because we do need to take a breather at some point. But breaking through that trend line and seeing price, you know, dump to the downside, that's just a very aggressive call there. So yeah, I do agree, pound CHF, nice little level there. We could be seeing another reaction from, like we did previously. But yeah, if you're looking at sales, definitely wait for some price action there, and I'll probably look to sell back into that trend line at the most, really, because you might start pushing through this level and, like I said, having that massive breakout. But we will see. Pound CHF is your favorite pair? That's interesting. A lot of people's favorite pairs would be what, pound USD, Euro USD, USD CAD. Not many people will say a pair with CHF in it. So, you know, fair play to you. It's definitely not one of my favorite pairs. I have to be honest there. But yeah, if it does hold to that area, then we can see a lot more downside, but I'm not convinced anymore, because I would have expected, if we're going to move to the downside, it to already have happened by now. We've held this resistance so many times, and I would have expected it to, really start to move to the downside by now, hitting some of these areas over here. And the fact that we're coming up again doesn't fill me with too much confidence. So yes, it's coming into a really nice level. If it holds it from a daily point of view, then yes, we might be seeing that bigger move happen. But yeah, I'm a bit skeptical. I think that we might break through this. Okay, so you're looking for price to take out that level to stop hunt people then. I mean, that makes sense. Because again, a lot of people would have shorted this or that movement to the downside. Looks like price is coming straight back there again. So yeah, it probably is going to stop hunt people. And like I said, there could be a nice short-term sell, but I need that trend line to break for me to think that, okay, yes, Usdchf could sell off a lot more, and that's the only way. I'll be convinced that sell-off can happen. But right now, I think there's a chance we could actually break through this resistance properly and really start to see some upside. I don't know if it's going to be now, because we could come up now, reject it again. So I don't expect Usdchf to do it now, but I think we can break through this looking at that price action. So I'm not going to look for sells. You're probably right. We probably will take out that high there and take out some people. And then come back down again, but I wouldn't sell past that resistance there, that trend line. But I could be wrong. We'll see. We could actually melt to the downside like no tomorrow. So we'll see. And if we do take out that trend line, then I probably will be joining your bias on that one. If you can take out, stay below it, put some lower highs in, then yeah, some sells would look really good. Because if we do hold that resistance, the next place I expect price to come to is all the way back down to these lows here. So the sales will be looking really good if that does happen. But I'm not too sure about it yet, but we will see. Hey Jermaine, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, sure, I will take a look at those pairs. So yeah, Gold's looking very bearish right now. We've been looking for sells pretty much all week, and I think we're going to continue on this path. I'm looking at gold getting back down to 1760 level, this support here, especially with the momentum we're seeing. So I think if you're looking at getting involved with gold, because it looks like we're taking out this support, I'll probably wait for some retracement. Probably wait for that 4H time frame candle to close though. I'll probably wait for a retracement, if anything, a retest of this and then more downside, or if you do snap back up again, wait for another lower high, maybe around that area, and sells back down again, maybe back down into that level first. But yeah, gold is looking so bearishly. I'm expecting more downside for this one. If you can get that closure below, then the retest will look good. If we do pull back up, then probably a lower high somewhere up there. But yeah, I'm expecting gold to come back down to 1760 really with this momentum. And DXY is looking bullish, and as you know, they are inversely correlated. So if the DXY is going to go up, gold is definitely going to come back down. So yeah, gold, I'm expecting price to come back down to 1760. So look for those opportunities, either the retest of this area, or if we do form a lower high somewhere up there, just wait for that retracement. And yeah, look for more sells is my bias for that one. You got the pound USD signal, nice. You're still in that position, because I'm still in that position now, and it's dilly-dallying around. Actually, we'll just do pound USD now. Yeah, so pound USD, I'm still expecting more downside for this one. We kind of false broke through that level, and now we're back below it again. So I'm seeing if pound USD can hold onto this area. I'm still in that trade, looking for a push back down into this support. But essentially prices come back to 1.39, a key level of daily resistance around this area here. With respect to that, I'm looking for prices to start to sell off again. Right now it's having a hard time doing so, but still looking, still in that trade, still looking for that move. DXY is looking very, very bullish. So, if the DXY keeps that up, pound USD has a good chance of falling. But I think we're seeing some strength in the pound, which is why it's having such a hard time. Whereas Euro, looks like that one's melting. But yeah, pound USD has formed a nice little level here. If I should just get rid of this for a second. Pound USD is from a nice little level there, so I think pound USD might be coming up, form a lower high, or maybe retest that resistance there. But yeah, as long as we can stay below this level here, let me just draw that again. As long as we can stay below that level here, then I think pound USD will be looking good. Back down to 1.37500, nice psychological level there as well. So yeah, pound USD shorts for me. I'm still in the trade from yesterday. You can look to get in if you see some nice retracement. Do wait for price action though, because price is a little bit choppy. It's forming some wicks here, which don't look the best. So it might mean that pound USD has another move up. See what price action we get, maybe in the lower time frames, and if we can see some nice rejection again, sales will be looking good to get back into the trade or take the trade for the first time. But yeah, pound USD back down to 1.37500, but we must stay below this resistance. If we take that resistance out, it probably means that price is heading back up to the highs up there. And Euro USD, tanking, wow, really just going, that pair is just saying, it's a bit stressful because Euro USD and pound USD, they do move quite similar. Then you see pound USD doing whatever the hell it's doing right now, whereas Euro USD is just catching all those pips. So hopefully pound USD can do that, but we'll see. But yeah, Euro USD for me, I would like to see some retracement now. I do have a sell bias. I'm expecting price to move back into 1.17100, which is basically this support taken across there, and just above 1.17, so nice psychological level as well. But yeah, looking for retracement. I'm not too sure if we'll come back to retest that, simply because of all of this momentum here. I'm not sure we will retrace that much. We could obviously, but we might not. We do have some US dollar news, so that maybe might happen actually. We do have some US dollar news coming out at 1:30 GMT, so in about an hour and 45 minutes or so. So depending on what that is, you might want to enter after the news. Or you can enter before. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but the news could affect things depending how strong it is. But yeah, right now I do have a sell bias for Euro USD. I'm expecting a push back down to these lows. So, if you can get some nice retracement on this, maybe a break and retest of this low here, that could be a nice place to short again, or potentially up there, short again back down to this support there. So more downside for Euro USD, more downside for pound USD. DXY is still looking strong. Gold, I'm expecting more downside as well. I'm expecting if DXY can break through this resistance here, I'm looking for DXY back into this level up there, 93.50. So really nice, range from that level to that. It hasn't broken through it yet. That's still about 10 minutes before it does close. But if we can close how it's closing now, or at least just close on that level, the momentum could take us to the upside, but then the news might have something else to say. So we'll find out with that. But yeah, I would say downside for all of those three pairs. But watch out for the news that's coming out soon. It might skew things up, or do something. I have no idea. We'll find out then. Not really reading too much into the news of what it could be, if it's bullish or bearish. I'm in my pound USD trade. We'll see what happens. It's either pound, it's either USD is either bullish or it's either bearish. And if it's bullish for me, then happy days. If it's bearish, I'll probably get stopped out. But we'll find out. Again, this is an example of me staying in the trade through a news event, because I know some people will be asking me if I trade during the news or if I trade the news. And essentially, no, I just trade my price action, I trade my analysis. But if I'm in a trade like the day before, or at least a good few hours before, like 4 or 5, and I'm in profit, then yeah, I'll leave the trade to run through the news. But if it's like an hour before, 30 minutes, I'll just let things be. I wouldn't enter then. So yeah, I'd like to be in the news a good day or so before if I can, and then, because most of the time, I'll probably say about 60-70% of the time, use does normally help me out. And I'm going to say this now, and then it's going to take my stop loss. Just jinx myself there, but we'll find out. But yeah, I'll probably say most of the time news does help me out and use it into my into my stop loss, into my take profit. So yeah, I'm going to be staying through the news with this trade. We'll see what happens. Like I said, it either stops me out or moves it further in my direction. We will see there. And will probably, affect all of these USD pairs. I'm expecting all these USD pairs to be heading down, so it's either I'm all right or I'm all wrong. Which is another reason why I don't trade, the same, or not same pair, but similar pairs at the same time, because the success of one trade, it will probably be mirrored into the second one as well. So you might as well just double your risk on one trade really, instead of take both. But yeah, Euro USD is flying, or should I say falling. Pound USD not so much. So obviously pound's a lot stronger than euro. You see euro pound is falling. And the USD is still trying to push. Like I said, NZ USD is still looking good for sells. If we can hold that trend line there as resistance, I think we could see a good move back into those lows there, and that support there as well. NZJPY starting to push off. Usdchf still looking strong. NZD starting to push to the downside. So again, it looks like we're seeing some weakness in that NZD, and I think if we keep that up, we should be continuing to the downside for those pairs, because like I said, we've seen big moves for those NZD and AU pairs. AU pairs have actually seen some downside though. You can see AUD Usdchf, AUJPY, we've actually seen some downside for AU, whereas NZD, we actually haven't seen much downside for these pairs yet. So I think it's time for NZD to catch up now with AU, because they do move quite similar. So I think it's time for NZD to catch up and see some downside. So yeah, I'm expecting some downside this week for those boys. Okay, so are you looking to get involved in that move, or are you just gonna investigate it and just sit on the sidelines for that? Because yeah, I have no idea. Really, I have no idea. I've never really looked into it. I mean, the bigger fundamental news I have, like NFP, interest rates sometimes, but that's literally about it. And it's because most of the time, if I'm not in the trade for the news, I don't even watch it. I just normally go do something else, wait a couple of hours, and then I come back into the market. So most of the time it doesn't affect me, but for today, I am in a trade now, so we'll see what happens. From a technical standpoint, if price does take out that resistance there, the trade is probably going to fail anyway. So we'll see. From where price is to my stop loss, there's about 33 pips. So hopefully that's enough room for any upside. It does say a high impact, so it might not be. Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah, you don't have to go full risk into something like that. There's no need to, unless you're not fully confident, or if it's not part of your plan, then yeah, definitely minimal risk, or even a demo account even. But yeah, guys, I still do have another 5 minutes or so. So if any of you guys are looking at any pairs, feel free to let me know. Drop it in the chat. We'll take a look at it together. If there's any pairs you're looking at, also let me know the time frames as well, because some of you do look at the 15-minute, 5-minute, and yeah, I will analyze those time frames for you. So if you are looking at some pairs, let me know the time frame as well. And yeah, I'll take a look at it, give you some analysis, my opinion. Again, it's only my opinion as well. I could definitely be wrong, and I could easily be right as well. But yeah, I'll give you my best analysis I can, and yeah, we'll see what's going on. I'm currently in this pound USD position. Going to set it through the news. We'll see how that goes. Again, you guys know the position, so whilst the news comes in, you can think of me, see what's happening with my position. But yeah, not too much in. Like I said, there's not too many pairs I'm looking at. Usdchf looks like we're seeing some downside for that one. See, Usdchf is it's weird, because if I was looking at this from a technical standpoint, I'll probably say sells, but with my knowledge of the DXY, I don't want to sell Usdchf unless we're just going to see some because we do have some CAD news, don't we? We do have some CAD news, not just US dollar. We do have some CAD news. So that could be it. If we see a bullish CAD, then that could take Usdchf down. But then if you see a bullish USD, then that could take you. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that pair. That pair, I'll probably just stay alone. For that pair, if you're in the Usdchf position and if you're in profit, I'll probably look to definitely get that trade to break even, because we've got 2 news events, both for each of those currencies. Anything can really happen there. No problem. Cheers. See you next week. Thanks for tuning into the streams. Means a lot. But yeah, I hope you have a good weekend. But yeah, guys, we don't just have USD. We also got CAD as well, so do be aware of that. Yeah, but Euro still looking weak. Pounds just kind of flirting with my entry price there. Euro JPY is falling, so yeah, it's definitely Euro's weak across the board. And pound is seeing some strength. Pound CHF moving up, pound CAD trying to move down. NZD still seeing a little bit of strength there. NZD USD a little bit choppy, but still expecting more downside, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, but we are coming to the end of the stream, guys. No problem, Armstrong. Thank you for tuning in. Does me a lot. Thank you for watching the stream, guys. Does mean a lot. And if you're feeling like you're in the liking mood, maybe drop a like on the video. All of that is much appreciated. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, guys. I do these streams Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and also post videos on Saturday. And I should be posting videos every Monday as well. So make sure you do look out for that, because I'm gonna get back into that as well. Help you guys out with some technical videos and also some psychological videos, because I'm quite a big fan of psychology now. Ever since I started trading, been really getting into it, so I'll be doing a lot more videos on psychology. I know that's not going to do get the most views, definitely technical analysis and like new strategies and stuff like that will definitely get the most views, but I'm quite passionate about the psychology side of things, so I will be doing a lot of those videos as well, so I hope you guys can find some value in that. But yeah, I'm going to do a quick rundown of some of the pairs. Thank you as well. Thank you for coming to the stream. Do really appreciate that, guys. But yeah, I'm going to do a quick rundown of some of the pairs that I've looked at, some of the pairs that are still on my watch list. There's no real pair that I'm really focusing on right now. Probably just pound USD, the trade I'm in. But yeah, I'll do a quick rundown of some pairs that could be forming nicely maybe after the news, because we do have about an hour and a half before the news comes, so it might not be the best time to get involved, risking getting wicked out, but yeah, we will see. But NZUSD, like I said pretty much throughout the whole live stream, looking at more downside for this one. It's a little bit choppy pair, but if we do hold this trend line as resistance, same with that level there, I can definitely see some downside for this one back into this level, and then further to the downside as well, back into 0.70600. So NZUSD is looking good, just a little bit choppy. There's definitely a lot of roughness going around there. Thanks, Arla. Thank you for joining the stream. Yeah, see you next week. Good to see some people coming back. Love to see that. Have a good weekend as well. Stay safe. Not too safe though. Need a little bit of risk. That's a bit of Forex advice for you there. But yeah, thanks for tuning to the stream. I will see you guys next week. Gold was still looking really bearish there. Like I said, gold looks like it's on its way down to 1760. So if anything, looking for sales for that one, but news will probably affect that one coming up soon, so do watch out for that. USD CAD, not too sure for this one, going to sit on the sidelines. It's broken through my trend line there, so from a technical standpoint we might be seeing a bit more downside, but like I said, DXY is looking strong, so I'm not too sure. Probably see what the news has to say with this one, because we've got CAD and USD, so I'm not going to say too much for USD CAD right now. Pound USD, currently in a short, still looking for pushback down into that support. I'm still standing by that. Again, like I said, if you are looking to get involved in pound USD, maybe some retrace back into that could be an opportunity. But yeah, definitely do wait for some price action, because we've seen some nice wicks to the downside there, which might indicate that pound USD wants to have another strike to the upside first before it does come down. So do wait for some price action, but essentially as long as we can stay below this resistance here, which is 1.38500, I'm expecting pound USD to sell off to the downside. Pound JPY as well, still expecting a sell off here, but still waiting for a retest of that trend line first. And then yeah, I think we could be on for a really nice sell off back down to these lows here. So definitely a pair I'm looking at. I'm not too sure if we'll get anything this week. We do, it is already Thursday, Friday tomorrow. Might be a pair for next week, but if we do start showing some nice bearish trend, definitely look to get involved, because there's definitely a lot of pips to catch with this one. And finally, Euro USD, and Euro USD is still looking bearish. It's done that throughout the whole live stream. Again, like I said, target's down at 1.17. As long as we can stay below this area here, which I think we can, unless the news takes us above it. But as long as we can stay below that, I'm expecting another sell-off back into those lows there, and maybe even these lows here as well. So Euro USD, if you can, and we do see some retracement, do look for those sells. And yeah, 1.171 is looking good. But yeah, sells for Euro USD. I'm bullish on the DXY, and hopefully we don't see too much noise from news coming out later. But as of right now, I'm bullish on the DXY, so Euro USD is looking good for sales. So that is the end of the live stream, guys. I hope you all enjoyed that, found some value out of it. If it's useful, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or any uploads I do. But thanks again for joining the stream, it does mean a lot. I hope you all have a good weekend, good day, good life, all of that. And yeah, I hope I see you again next week for the streams, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Be there, be square. But yeah, have a good weekend everybody, and I'll see you on the next one.